Come, let us explore the meditation benefits I wish I knew before age 40. Together let us relaxingly recite. The Nobel laureate Albert Einstein is said to have quipped, "Any intelligent fool can make things bigger, more complex, and more violent. However, it takes a touch of genius and a lot of courage to move in the opposite direction." In a vast ocean-like throng of rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel fools, there are many who insist that enlightenment is attainable only for the special few who live in a special place, in a special time, with special companions, and have received special teachings from a special teacher because they're so damn special and we're not. But that is not what the Buddha taught. Real or archetypical, he taught that enlightenment was as simple as mastering the Eightfold Path. And that could be done in as little as 7 days. How egalitarian is that? The key to this right view that empowers letting go, 4 points of right love. The effortless effort of having our choices, utterances, and deeds flow from love-centered spontaneity is simply mindfulness and meditation. I'm going to make a quick change here to make it easier to understand. Now the display is off. I will do my best to remedy that. Okay, now I think it'll make it much more sense. Okay, here we go. The key to this right view that empowers letting go, 4 points of right love, and the effortless effort of having our choices, utterances, and deeds flow from love's spontaneity is simply mindfulness and meditation. Now, I think this would make even more sense if I do the old switcheroo and cut this and paste it over yonder. And then, so what I'm going to do real quick is just make sure this fits on the screen. It does. Fabulous. Let's continue. Good morning, Shivi. I hope your health is well. 4. When practiced enthusiastically, sustainably, and effectively, mindfulness and meditation are the spiritual equivalent of a Swiss Army knife. In the golden age of proto-Buddhism, before the folly of institutionalism set in like black mold infesting a cabin in the woods, the only teachings were the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, which contained the essence of all morality, which is loving kindness, or metta. Remember, actively striving to focus upon or analyze loving kindness could produce nothing more than a mere analog. Pale and flaccid and worthless and weak. For the highest love, spontaneous and uncontrived, is the effortless byproduct of mindfulness and meditation. Yearning to do the loving thing is all well and fine, but how could we know what the right thing is? What the most kind manner is in which to do it, and when the most kind time is in which it must be done. Centered spontaneity. When our choices, utterances, and deeds flow from the centered spontaneity, which in turn is generated by our practice of mindfulness and meditation, love's kindness is as natural, effortless, and potent as our next breath. For those of us who are keen to devote ourselves to an Ajahn, Roshi, Sifu, Shifu, or Lama, our ultimate teacher is simply our mindfulness and meditation, for the sole purpose of the outer teacher is to acquaint us with the inner one, which can be done in but one sitting. For those who are keen to make offerings, there is no finer objects of such gift. For those who are keen to make offerings, there is no finer object of such gifts than our teacher who is kind enough to give us instruction and answer our questions. Although optional donations could be lovely, the greatest offering we can make to our teacher is none other than the enthusiastic and sustainable practice of their instructions, including mindfulness and meditation. Once again, we're going to do the old switcheroo. Although optional donations could be lovely, the greatest offering we can make to our teacher is none other than the enthusiastic and sustainable practice of their instructions, whose essence is none other than mindfulness and meditation. For those of us who enthusiastically seek protection from the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, there is no greater safety to be had than by passively noticing whatever, past, present. Let's do, once again, let's do a quick adjustment. There is no greater safety to be had than by passively noticing whatever past, present, or potential dreads spontaneously cartwheel across the metaphoric stage of mind as we effortlessly sit in mindfulness, and then viscerally relax in harmony with meditation's next exhalation. For those of us who are eager to manifest the fulfillment of all our mental, interpersonal, physical, and circumstantial needs, let's try this again. We but only have to vulnerably notice the various and sundry desires that could dance like sugar plums in children's dreams as we breathe in, and meditatively relax and release as we breathe out. Recent centuries have seen a rise in the popularity of training in the three marks of reality, or tilakkhana. Yet as we sit in mindfulness once every 12 hours or so, we cannot help but automatically notice, recall, or anticipate stress, or dukkha. And as we meditatively relax into our exhalations, we cannot help but viscerally experience how that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel temporary or anicca, and as non-graspable as if they simply were not us, or anatta. Even the tyranny exerted by the five mental poisons over our choices, utterances, and deeds is easily tamed through mindfulness and meditation. First, as we meditatively relax into our exhalation, whatever dread we vulnerably noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as non-graspable as mirror-like wisdom. Second, as we meditatively release into our exhalation whatever desire we passively noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as empty as discerning wisdom. Third, as we meditatively relax into our exhalation, whatever turmoil we vulnerably noticed during our previous inhalation can feel as non-graspable as all-pervading wisdom. Fourth, as we meditatively release into our exhalation, whatever jealousy we randomly noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as void as all-accomplishing wisdom. Fifth, as we meditatively relax into our exhalation, whatever pride we fleetingly noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as non-graspable as equalizing wisdom. Each complex life form upon this big blue marble we call Earth has evolved to be hedonistic at heart. Yet no thing being a phenomena could give us as much of the bliss on tap, afforded to us by the easy practice of mindfulness and meditation. Come, let us walk in the Buddha's footsteps. Having completed our opening lesson, it's time to shift gears. It is Ray Sunday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've harnessed my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I can become your nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. We turn now to the latest iteration of very easy meditation practice text, or sadhana, if you're nasty. Together, let us relaxingly recite. Whatever comes, may all beings notice, relax, and flow. Whatever stays, may all beings notice, relax, and flow. Whatever goes, may all beings notice, relax, and flow. Upon the tip of our left index finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite the real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the crown region of our head. Let us review the essence of mindfulness. During each inhalation, we are wired to automatically access the sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord. The sympathetic nervous system has evolved to help us to notice in a very special way. Vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, which is the opposite of the rigidity of concentration. Now let us consider meditation. Every time we exhale, evolution has wired us to automatically access the parasympathetic nervous system, divided between the lower third and the upper third of our same spinal cord. This parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. Therefore, during each inhalation, let us silently and mentally recite noticing, and during each exhalation, let us silently and mentally recite relaxing. Let us relaxingly recite an excerpt from Vast Expanse of the Diamond-like Mind, also known as Dorje Sempa Namka Che, composed 14 centuries ago by Prahevajra, translated from the Tibetan by Chokyon Namkai Norbu, translated from the Italian by Adriano Clemente, adapted and amplified by yours truly. Together. The spontaneously existing complete bliss arises from one's recognition. I think I'm on the wrong page. I apologize for that. Let's go over here. It is both easy and difficult. Wow, this was last night that we covered this. Don't I feel silly? Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. So this does not abide in the designations of past, future, and present. Understanding that this has no arising or ceasing and is the integration of the three times into the state of complete emptiness like non-graspability. This does not abide in the designations of past, future, and present. What does that mean? As we relax into our exhalation, whatever experience of the past we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel non-graspable. Similarly, as we relax into our exhalation, whatever experience of the three times we might have perceived during our previous inhalation could equally feel less graspable. So let's continue. Understanding that this has no arising or ceasing and is the integration of the three times into the state of complete emptiness like non-graspability. So as we relax into our exhalation, whatever we noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as non-graspable as if that which we noticed had never been born. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever we noticed during our previous inhalation could seem as non-graspable as that which is immune to impermanence. For as we look around, we find nothing that does not age. So what do we mean by emptiness-like non-graspability? As we relax into our exhalation, whatever we noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Any good English teacher will remind us that a simile is only as useful as it is relatable. So we have to ask the question, what is a real-world example of a non-graspable vast empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which although could be tantalizing to the eye, is non-graspable to the hand? Let's continue. This does not abide in the designations of past, future, and present. Understanding that this has no arising or ceasing, and is the integration of the three times into the state of complete emptiness like non-graspability. In the Heart Sutra, arising and ceasing would be explained this way. As we notice during our inhalation, things could be defined by arising and ceasing. However, as we relax into our exhalation, both arising and ceasing seem as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Let's continue. This does not abide in the designations of past, future, and present, understanding that this has no arising or ceasing, and is the integration of the three times into the state of complete emptiness-like non-graspability. So this could use some editing. Okay, thank you for your patience. Let's continue. Having talked about this noticing and relaxing, I think it would be lovely if we actually practiced it right now. Whoops. Wow, having some problems with the equipment. Upon the tip of our right little finger, we could rest the great knuckle. Whoopsie, let's try this again. Upon the tip of our left little finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so, where is, I don't like it when this happens. So I'm having some problems and I'm going to try to fix it. If this goes away, I'll restart it. If my effort to fix this problem causes the stream to be interrupted, I'll start a new stream. So wish me luck. I'm going to hit Control, Alt, Delete. I'm going to hit Task Manager. See what's consuming all the memory. Looks like it's Chrome is the culprit. So it looks like, okay, everything's back. So that's super weird. Okay, let's continue. So working with our little fingers, tip and knuckle, helps us to gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce in the bladder region of our lower abdomen. Thank you, Shivi. So let's see. By way of review, when it comes to mindfulness during each inhalation, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. Let us consider meditation. Every time we exhale, we are wired to physically relax and mentally release. Therefore, during each inhalation, may we silently and mentally recite noticing, and during each exhalation, may we silently and mentally recite relaxing. Together, let us relaxingly recite. Being equal, there is nothing special to offer. Offerer, object, recipient, and intention being one, they're beyond being dedicated towards a specific intention. Although there are lovely objects that could be offered, since they already and spontaneously naturally exist, there is nothing graspable to array. So this is a poetic way of repeating what I mentioned during the opening lesson, which was that the ultimate offering is simply the practice of mindfulness and meditation. Any teacher who wants more than that is not wise or loving. Any real or imagined celestial entity that wants more than that is neither wise nor loving. Let us continue. Being equal, there is nothing special to offer. Offerer, object, and recipient being one, they're beyond being dedicated towards a specific intention. As we relax into our exhalation, although offerer, object, and recipient can seem quite different during our inhalation, during our relaxing exhalation, they could both share the same taste of fleeting non-graspability. Let us continue. Although there are lovely objects that could be offered, since they already spontaneously and naturally exist, there is nothing graspable to array. So, just as it would be ludicrous for a child to go into his mother's prized garden, tear up her prize-winning rose bush, and then present it to her as a gift, similarly, since we are not the creators of this planet or anything on this planet, since we're not the creators of any mind on this planet, no less what could be imagined by any mind on this planet, what have we to offer? So this exists simply to lampoon Maha Yoga, which focuses on visualization, incantation, asceticism, and offering. Let's continue. Being equal, there is nothing special to offer. Offerer, object, and recipient being one, they are beyond being dedicated towards a specific intention. Although there are lovely objects that could be offered, since they already spontaneously and naturally exist, there is nothing graspable to array. Being equal, there is nothing special to offer. Offerer, object, and recipient being one, they are beyond being dedicated towards a specific intention. Although there are lovely objects that could be offered, since they already spontaneously and naturally exist, there is nothing graspable to array. In my traditional training many decades ago, I spent more time making offerings than I did practicing mindfulness and meditation. Over the years, I've seen the error of my ways. Upon the tip of our left middle finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite or real or imagine subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the heart region of our chest. Let us review mindfulness. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we are wired to automatically access the sympathetic nervous system, which is wired to help us to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice all manner of phenomena, from the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque. Let us review meditation. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, our parasympathetic nervous system is wired to help us both physically relax as well as mentally release. Therefore, during each inhalation, may we silently and mentally recite noticing, and during each exhalation, may we silently and mentally recite relaxing. We come to the final recitation of this morning's live stream, so let's make the most of it. Being spontaneously present, it is beyond dedicating. Pure from the beginning, it is like nectar. The 12 sense spaces are not to be particularly focused upon with special intention. So, in other words, we do not concentrate on our eyes, ears, flesh, tongue, or nose. We do not concentrate on our capacity to see, hear, feel, taste, or smell. Instead, as we inhale, we notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. This is completely the opposite, or the complete opposite of concentration and its controlling tendencies. Being spontaneously present, it is beyond dedicated. Take two. Being spontaneously present, it is beyond dedicating. Pure from the beginning, it is like nectar. The 12 sense spaces are not to be particularly focused upon with special intention. So once again, it's not our job to recite grandiose, lengthy prayers of spiritual ambition or compassion. It is enough to simply notice and release because offerings and dedications just trip us and make us fall back into the metaphoric pit of the fundamental duality of pushing and pulling and dreading and desiring. Let us continue. Being spontaneously present, it is beyond dedicating. Pure from the beginning, it is like nectar. The 12 sense spaces are not to be particularly focused upon with special intention. So there's a difference between spontaneously noticing something versus actively concentrating on a sight. Being spontaneously present, it is beyond dedicating. Pure from the beginning, it is like nectar. The 12 sense spaces are not to be particularly focused upon with special intention. Upon the tip of our left ring finger, whoopsie, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger, palms up, in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the navel region of our mid-abdomen. By way of review, let us begin with mindfulness. Every time we inhale, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, we could vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice all manner of dualities. The dreadful and the desirous, the dangerous and the safe, the scarce and the abundant, the painful and the pleasurable, the scornful and the praising, the shameful and the shame and fame. Let us turn our attention to meditation. Every time we exhale, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, we are already wired to physically relax and mentally release. Therefore, during each inhalation, may we silently and mentally recite noticing, and during each exhalation, may we silently and mentally recite relaxing. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 9 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.